Welcome back to Hard Hat Chat. I'm Justin Smith, CEO of Contractor Plus, and joining me, as always, is Gerritt Bake, CEO of BuildPro. Today, we're stepping into a conversation that's been simmering across job sites, contractor meetups, and industry circles for quite some time now. Today's topic is a spicy one, and not because we're trying to stir the pot, but because the pot has been boiling for a while. And most people outside the industry don't realize just how big this divide has become. We're talking about the war, yes, war, between independent contractors and big national chains. The battle for market share, the battle for trust, the battle for pricing power, the battle for perception, and the battle for the customer's confidence.
This is the clash of identities, isn't it? On one side, you have the independent contractor, the local business owner, the family run shop. The name painted on the truck parked outside the Little League field because it's their kid playing. They shake hands. They show up early. They live in the same zip code as their clients. They don't just want the job, they want the relationship.
And then, on the other side, the national chain. The brand with recognizable logos, fleet vehicles with matching graphics, uniforms, scripts, financing departments, call centers, commercial budgets, brand recognition already established before the customer even does research. There's a level of trust that comes baked into that size, but also a level of doubt, because customers wonder, am I talking to a human or a system?
This is the interesting part. Both sides believe they're the better option for the customer. Independent contractors believe the chains are impersonal and overpriced. The chains believe the independents are inconsistent and unsystemized. Both can be right, both can be wrong. And homeowners get caught in the middle, trying to decide which version of professional they want to gamble on.
What really lit the fuse on this war is the shift in perception. There was a time, not that long ago, when small meant personal, and personal meant trustworthy. But then companies like Amazon came along and reprogrammed our brains. Suddenly, speed, convenience, and consistency became the expectation, and small businesses couldn't always match it, not because they lacked skill, but because they lacked staffing and infrastructure.
You're right. People want things fast. They want quotes fast, scheduling fast, updates fast, responses fast. National chains built operations for speed. Independents built operations for craftsmanship. And when those two value systems collide, customers start to interpret speed as professional and handcrafted as slow.
And this is where it gets personal. The independent contractor feels like the national chain is entering their neighborhood, their community, their reputation pool. It's like the giant supermarket moving into a small town with one family-owned grocery store. Suddenly, the playing field tilts, not because the chain is necessarily better, but because they're louder.
Marketing is the battlefield now. I've spoken to contractors who say they do top-tier work, but the customer never even finds out who they are because the national chain shows up first in every search, every ad, every directory. And in the digital world, being first is interpreted as being the best, even when it's not always the case.
But let's be fair, the chains aren't the villain. They bring standardization, they bring processes, they bring training, they bring benefits for employees who want stability, not adventure. Some customers like the idea of calling a brand instead of a person because they think if something goes wrong, the company will make it right. Whether that's always true or not, perception drives purchasing.
The independents, on the other hand, carry something the chains can't buy: community credibility. When a local contractor messes up, it hurts because they see that customer at the grocery store. Their kids go to the same school. Reputation follows them literally and geographically. The chain's reputation is stored in the cloud. The contractor's reputation is stored in conversations within 2 miles of their office.
And that proximity creates accountability. Independent contractors know the handshake still matters. They're not sending customers to a customer support portal, they're knocking on the door the next day. They aren't shipping off responsibility to a different department, they are the department.
But here's the tough truth for the independent side. Customers don't always care about the handshake if the process feels chaotic. If estimates take too long, if calls don't get returned, if shifts without communication, the chain may not be personal, but predictable outweighs personal when the stress is high.
Meanwhile, for the national chains, predictability has a cost. Some customers feel like a number, feel sold instead of served, feel processed instead of partnered. People may want speed, but they don't want to feel disposable. And that's where independents win when they show that the homeowner isn't a transaction, they're a neighbor.
What's fascinating is both sides blame each other for the market shift. Independents say the chains undercut trust with marketing muscle. Chains say independents undercut trust with inconsistency. But really, it's the marketplace that changed. Customer expectations modernized faster than either side was prepared for.
This part lands right here. This isn't a war about who can build better or fix faster. It's a war about perception, communication, reliability, and the new definition of professionalism. The battlefield isn't a job site, it's the customer's mind. And in
Next part, we're going deeper into why homeowners are choosing one over the other and how each side has advantages the other one wishes they could borrow.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break. And hey, if you're a contractor looking to scale your business without adding more chaos, check out Contractor Plus. It's the only app you'll ever need to run your business from start to finish. CRM, estimates, invoices, and payments, everything contractors need to manage jobs, stay organized, and grow their business in one place. Win more work, save time, and run a smarter operation with Contractor Plus. We're back, and now we're getting into the real fuel behind this conflict: customer perception and customer psychology. Because at the end of the day, the market decides who wins these battles, and the customer's mind is the place where this war is actually being fought. Not on job sites, not in boardrooms, in that moment where the homeowner stands in their kitchen and thinks, who do I trust with this? That single decision drives millions of dollars every day in the home service industry.
And the way customers think has evolved drastically. Let's talk about convenience first, because convenience changed everything. Years ago, if you needed a plumber, you asked the neighbor. If you needed a roofer, you asked your friend. If you needed an electrician, you called your cousin who knew someone. That process was based on personal connection.
Today, people Google before they even speak. Convenience replaced conversation. Research replaced recommendation. This is where national chains excel. They built infrastructure around convenience. They answer faster because they're staffed to answer faster. They schedule faster. They follow up faster. They often have financing options in place that make big decisions feel safer even when the price is higher. When a homeowner hears, "we offer financing," that feels like a parachute, and the chains know the value of that safety net.
Meanwhile, independent contractors excel in the one thing national chains struggled to replicate: relationship. When a homeowner meets the owner on day one, there is a different energy. There's accountability from the first handshake. There's eye contact that means something. They're not dealing with three different people across four different departments. They're dealing with the person whose name is on the truck.
But to the customer, these benefits don't appear in order. They appear based on what problem they're trying to solve. If someone needs same-day help, the independent may struggle to deliver that speed, not because they don't care, but because their crew size isn't built for sudden volume. The chain has the manpower. The independent has the touch. The question becomes, what does the customer want more, efficiency or intimacy?
And this is where expectations come in. The chains train their teams to talk to customers the same way in every home, in every state, using the same process. Consistency becomes part of their brand. So when they say, "we'll send someone between 8 and 10, they usually mean it. When they say, "we'll text you updates," they usually do it. The independent may have every intention of doing the same, but one emergency, one delay, one supply issue, and suddenly the momentum breaks.
And when that communication breaks, the chain looks safer. even if the final price is higher, because customers now are paying for certainty more than they're paying for service. They want emotional predictability, not just technical proficiency.
Let's flip it. What do independents offer that chains can't buy, no matter how large their budget? Authentic trust. Not scripted trust, not company policy trust. Trust built on familiarity. Trust built on repeat interactions. Trust built because the homeowner knows the business is tied to the local community, not a corporate headquarters 3 states away.
There is a reason homeowners still say sentences like, "I'd rather support local." People like feeling that their money stays in their zip code instead of feeding a national machine. They like knowing they're helping a family, not an investor. And independents win that emotional battle when they show up reliably.
The problem is the independent contractor often gains the advantage after the work is finished. The chain often gains the advantage before the work is started. Chains win the first impression, independents win the reflection. But winning too late still costs the job.
Another factor is branding. Chains understand that branding isn't a logo, it's repetition. Brand feels like familiarity, even when it's not earned. You've seen the trucks, the billboards, the uniforms, the Facebook ads. Whether you've used them or not, you feel like you've heard of them. Familiarity reduces fear, even artificially.
Independents rely on work speaking for itself, but work doesn't speak unless someone shows it, shares it, captures it, and broadcasts it. Many independents do the work beautifully, but don't document the journey. Chains document everything because the documentation is the marketing.
Now, let's talk pricing, because this is where much of the hostility comes from. The perception is that chains are overpriced and independents are cheaper. Sometimes true, sometimes not even close. Chains have overhead, marketing budgets, call centers, franchising fees, administrative layers. Independents have lower overhead, but also sometimes inconsistent pricing structures and less financial cushion.
The customer sees price but not cost. The customer sees quote but not structure. The chain's price is built with predictability in mind. The independent's price is built with flexibility in mind. The customer has to decide which one feels more valuable, consistency or customization.
Let's touch on trust, because this is the emotional battlefield. When something goes wrong, and in construction, something eventually does, the national chain points to policy, process, warranty structure. The independent points to reputation, relationship, problem solving. The customer is left choosing whether they want resolution by system or resolution by conversation.
And neither side is inherently better. The chain can be impersonal but reliable. The independent can be personal but overwhelmed. The chain can send someone quickly but not the same person twice. The independent may show up personally but may not have the manpower if the job escalates. Pros and cons exist on both sides, and customers choose based on fear more than preference.
So the war isn't about who's right, it's about who aligns with customer expectations first. The chain leveraged speed, reach, and systems. The independent leveraged trust, relationship, and familiarity. And the battlefield is perception. Whoever owns the perception owns the client.
Next, we're breaking down how independent contractors can compete without pretending to be chains, and how chains can succeed without pretending to be small. The winning strategy isn't copying the competition, it's becoming undeniable in your lane.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break. And hey, if you're a contractor looking to scale your business without adding more chaos, check out Contractor Plus. We're back, and this is where we wrap the big question. In a world where both independent contractors and national chains are battling for the same customer, the same search ranking, the same neighborhood streets, what does winning actually look like for each side? And more importantly, can both sides win without trying to become each other?
That's the key, because the biggest mistake independents make is thinking we need to act like a big chain to compete. And the biggest mistake big chains make is thinking we need to act small and personal to appear more local. When you try to be something you're not, your weaknesses show up louder than your strengths. The independent who tries to play corporate sometimes ends up looking disorganized and stretched thin. The chain that tries to pretend they're local and small ends up sounding scripted and insincere.
The winning strategy comes from leaning into the advantage you already have, not chasing the one you don't. Independent contractors don't win because they're everywhere. They win because they're here, in this town, in this community, in this network of people who remember names and faces. Chains don't win because of intimacy, they win because of structure, because they can guarantee speed, predictability, and coverage in a way a single small team sometimes can't.
But that means independent contractors have to protect and maximize what makes them valuable. Being local doesn't matter if the communication feels distant. Being community based doesn't matter if the experience feels chaotic. You can't hang your hat on the handshake if the phone call doesn't get returned. The relationship advantage has to be earned repeatedly, not just advertised.
And chains need to realize something. People aren't tired of large companies because they're large. People are tired of feeling like numbers when they're spending their savings. They're tired of menus of services but no conversation. They're tired of getting transferred 3 times before someone can answer a small question. Chains don't need to pretend to be small, but they do need to be human.
At the core, the independent contractor offers identity. This is my business and my reputation. The chain offers infrastructure. This is our system and our guarantee. The future belongs to the ones who communicate that difference clearly rather than hiding it, because the homeowners aren't confused about the difference. They just want to know which one fits their project and their comfort level.
One misconception is that homeowners always look for the cheapest option. Not true. Most homeowners are looking for the safest option. And the definition of safe depends on the homeowner's personality and priorities. Some feel safer with a big brand that has warranties longer than their youngest child's education. Others feel safer with the company whose owner shakes their hand, asks about their dog, and remembers details after the job is done.
And here's something that doesn't get said enough. There's room in a market for both. The chain is often built for scale. Large volume, large marketing, large footprint. The independent is built for loyalty, repeat clients, referrals, community presence. The industry isn't a battlefield where one side must destroy the other. It's a freeway with different lanes going the same direction. The problems arise when someone swerves without signaling.
The independent contractor wins when they embrace professionalism in communication, not just proficiency in craft. When the estimate comes fast, when the updates are clear, when the customer feels guided, not guessing. The chain wins when they embrace empathy, not just efficiency. When the customer doesn't feel like ticket number 47 being moved through a pipeline. When solving the problem matters more than upselling the service.
The war between independents and chains isn't about capability. Both can deliver great work. The war is about perception. The war is about how the customer feels during the process. And the businesses that win in the future, whether single shop or multi-state, are the ones that reduce fear, increase trust, and treat the customer like the project is happening in their own house.
And here's the ending truth. People don't buy small or big. They buy confident. They buy informed. They buy the company that made them feel understood before they spent $1. Whoever wins the customer's comfort wins the customer's contract.
And in the long run, the real competition isn't between chains and independents. The real competition is between companies that communicate and companies that don't. Between companies that deliver what they promise and companies that explain why the promise changed. Between companies that see the customer as a partner and companies that see the customer as a problem.
The future isn't about size. The future is about trust delivered at scale. Whether your scale is one neighborhood or 20 states. Serve the customer like their project is personal, because to them, it is.
This has been Hard Hat Chat. Keep building trust, not tension. Keep building systems without losing the soul.
And remember, the real enemy is not the other model of business. It's the silence between expectations and experience. We'll see you next episode. Drop the next topic when you're ready.